Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Mana, I'm joined by Nova,
Hello.
and today we're looking at games releasing in June 2023. So first we're going to look at some of the bigger titles, or some of the games we're interested in, and then at the end we're going to have a handful of honorable mentions. And this is also the debut of our VTuber avatars, so you're going to have to forgive us if they act up. First up is Street Fighter VI. This is the next entry in Capcom's fighting game series. It's made in their RE engine, which was used for the newer Resident Evil games. This one's in a bit of a different art style. The devs stated they wanted it to be a celebration of street culture, so there's a lot of graffiti styling, street clothes, and this paint explosion effect with special moves. It all looks very nice and fluid, exactly what you'd want from a fighting game. At launch there will be 18 playable characters, with 6 being new ones, including Kimberly, who's described as a street ninja and wields graffiti spray cans, and Jamie, who combines drunken boxing and breakdancing. New to the series is World Tour Mode. It's a single-player campaign where you create a custom character and you walk around these semi-open hub areas. You meet main cast characters and learn their fighting styles, including the special moves which you can use to move around the city. It's a bit like an RPG in that you'll level up, buy moves, there's a talent tree, there's even shops where you can buy clothing that have stats. And also you'll be able to fight anyone by just walking up to them and punching them. Next is Battle Hub mode, which is like a social space with up to 100 players. You'll walk around with your custom avatar and see what other people have created. There's battle cabinets where you can verse other people's avatars, set up tournaments, or even spectate. There's also a game center where you can play the old games in Capcom's collection. In fighting rounds, you can do the classic arcade mode, local versus, or training. There's also online where you can play with friends in custom lobbies or ranked or casual matchmaking. And for online, they have rollback netcode, so it should be very smooth. The game features 3 control types. There's Classic, which lets you control characters as you did in previous games. Modern, which simplifies inputs, removing things like the quarter circle, zigzags, or other complicated inputs, making it easier to do specials and combos. Note that you won't have the full moveset of the character, but it should be fine for most players, and it's great to start with. There's also a new dynamic AI assisted mode, where your character will automatically attack based on distance and context. This is intended for beginners of fighting games and can only be used offline. And finally, there's the drive gauge, which is new to the series. These are a set of energy bars that are consumed when doing special maneuvers or blocking. And when it's completely depleted, you will take chip damage. It's built up by attacking and being aggressive, so it's a great counter to the turtle playstyle. Overall, it seems like a great addition to the series. So neither of us have played any of the Street Fighter games, but this one seems very welcoming to newcomers, and it has an expansive single player. Do you think this will be the one you jump in on?
To be honest, probably not. However, well, as generally, fighting games don't really hold my interest for longer than a day. The World Tour mode seems really cool and a great addition to the series, I think, where it's now more than just a fighting game against other people. It offers a lot for like the person just playing by themselves. So
yeah, I typically only play fighting games for the story, which seems odd, but like the Injustice series or like the NetherRealm games, like the later Mortal Kombats.
I enjoyed Soul Calibur back in the day. So
yeah,
Street Fighter doesn't really have a style that I like. I like the direction that they've taken it, where it's this celebration of street culture. It's really bright and colorful, and it's really, really cool. I really like the new character, Kimberly. I think her design is great. Like, it's got a lot going for it that would appeal to someone that maybe doesn't really jump into fighting games very often.
Yeah, I am interested in the character creator. It's an interesting concept because you can basically learn from all the different other, like the main cast of characters, and build a fighting style that's a mix of like all those. So you can actually kind of create probably overpowered characters. Yeah, so you should note that you cannot take your custom avatar and go into ranked or casual matchmaking. You can only play against other people's custom avatars.
Is there a particular new character or that you're interested in, or one that, like a classic that you would want to play?
I don't know, because I don't really have an attachment to any of them because I haven't played them before.
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of like Ryu, and in this one, they've kind of aged him up because like the old cast is kind of getting older, so he's more like a like a grizzled Ryu with a like a beard and a tattered clothes. So I guess I'd play the boring vanilla option for Ryu.
I like bright colors.
Yeah.
So Kimberly immediately caught my eye.
The thing is with the character creator though, it's quite expansive. So I bet if you wanted to play like SpongeBob in this game, you could probably
Oh my god.
you could probably recreate him
A literal nightmare.
and play against Patrick in online mode.
My name's not Rick.
Next up is Elder Scrolls Online Necrom, which is the newest expansion, or chapter as they call it, in the Elder Scrolls MMO. This one has a very Lovecraftian or cosmic horror theme. It revolves around Hermaeus Mora, the Daedric Prince of Forbidden Knowledge and Fate, in his realm of Apocrypha. It also sees the first new class since 2019, the Arcanist. This class derives its power from the forbidden knowledge of Hermaeus Mora. They're able to channel the arcane, ancient runes, and lost tomes of power. Basically, these guys punch people with tentacles, open portals, and shoot green lasers. They have 3 skill lines available, so they can be tank, healer, or DPS. They can fulfill all 3 roles. They use a new mechanic called Crux Runes that you build and spin to empower abilities. The expansion takes you back to Morrowind, to the Telvanni Peninsula, home of colossal mushrooms, arcane magic, and the city of Necrom, which the Dark Elves named their city of the dead. You will work with House Telvanni, purveyor of magic and secrets, to combat hidden forces that are assaulting Apocrypha to uncover forbidden knowledge. Knowledge so powerful, so terrible, that it can unmake reality. You will also travel to Apocrypha, the living library. This is basically the place where Hermaeus Mora has amassed knowledge that he's pulled from other planes. It was last seen in the Dragonborn DLC, but this time you'll travel to a new region called the Chroma Incognito. This is a more colorful alien landscape than you've seen before, with shimmering colors and floating architecture. You also travel to Bastion Nimic, which is a fortress containing dangerous secrets that is being sieged by rival Daedric princes. This is basically a daily quest area where you can go in solo or with up to 3 friends to complete an instance mini-dungeon. There's also a new trial or 12-man raid being added to the game called Sanity's Edge. The premise being that a mage studying a Daedric artifact has released a malevolent creature into his mind. You and your friends will go into his dreamscape to free him from his torment. There are 2 new companions being added, as Xander the Arcanist, who has gone mad for spending too much time in Apocrypha, and Sharp as Night, an Argonian warden who's described as a tough-as-nails bounty hunter. And as you expect from any new MMO expansion, there'll be new mounts, pets, achievements, titles, and more. And if you aren't familiar with how ESO works, if you buy this chapter, you get all the previous story chapters as well. And ESO is buy to play, but there is a subscription tier available.
So I find the Apocrypha or Living Library extremely interesting. I love library levels in games, so being able to explore this would be very exciting to me.
Yeah, I know it has actual books. I don't know how much they've had to write to put new books in for this expansion.
Yeah.
But it's also a living library, so a lot of it is like land masses or structures that he's pulled in from other planes. So it's probably a real...
I think I remember from some promotional materials that we watched that there is like a pirate ship that you can go on. Like it's got a lot of interesting set pieces. Like it's very just, he's amassing knowledge, and it doesn't have to be books to amass knowledge. It's whatever he catches his fancy, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I like the concept of the raid being inside somebody's mind.
Oh, yeah.
You have a lot of freedom there to have it do whatever you want, because it's all imagination.
Yeah. Sounds really interesting.
Would you make an Arcanist, the new class?
Definitely. I like to make every class when I play MMOs. I really enjoy the aesthetic of this kind of cosmic horror thing with the tentacles, and the fact that they use tomes. Like it's a feature in their animation that they have like a tome that they fight with. And they have the 3, they can be a tank, healer, or DPS. So it seems like a very interesting and well-rounded class. So
Yeah, I like that they have a tentacle punch ability.
yeah.
I know that was also a magic move in Bloodborne.
Yeah, I think it looks really neat. I think it's pretty exciting. A pretty exciting expansion.
I'm waiting for them to I want to play a vampire, and they actually aren't that great right now, so I'm waiting for them for the new patch when they buff vampires, and then that's when I will start playing the game.
I guess.
Because it's such a unique class. Like, usually don't have vampires in MMOs.
Yeah, they're not usually featured as a playable character in any game. If a vampire wasn't an option, what class would you play?
I'd have to look at the classes. You can also be a werewolf.
Okay, so no mythical creature.
I can't be cursed.
No curses.
I guess the sorceress, that's kind of like a boring option, but yeah, the classic mage.
Yeah, well, magic is fun to play with.
Next up, we have Diablo IV, the newest Diablo game that's not on phones. For this one, they wanted to return to a darker tone similar to Diablo II. The game takes place 50 years after the events of Diablo III's Reaper of Souls, where half of humanity has been called by the Angel of Death. Sanctuary is scarred and in a broken, fragile state, and the demonic Lilith has returned, summoned by a dark ritual. Players are asked by the last of the Herodrum to stop Lilith and save Sanctuary. At launch, you will choose from one of 5 classes: the Barbarian, who uses a varied arsenal, intimidating war cries, and ground-shaking slams to crush their enemies; the Druid, a shapeshifter who can transform between a towering bear and a vicious werewolf, or stand back and command the power of earth, wind, and storm magics; the Necromancer, a summoner class that conjures vengeful hordes of undead to do their bidding while wielding powerful magics of bone, blood, and shadow; the Rogue, an adaptable agile warrior that can specialize in ranged or close quarters combat and wields traps, poison, and shadow magic; or the Sorcerer, a spellcaster who's mastered the elemental magics, using cold, fire, and lightning to subdue their enemies. New to the numbered entries in the series, there's a character creator where you can change your face, hairstyle, skin color, jewelry, makeup, tattoos, and more, although some elements will be class specific to make each feel unique. There's also a dye system, so you can further customize your character's look through coloring their gear. The game features many ways to customize your build, including a huge skill tree, gear affixes, a paragon board, and more. The devs say they want the players of even the same class to feel like they play differently. The game features an open world with 5 regions to explore in any order with a non-linear story, over 150 dungeons to complete, and even a mount to get around faster. The game features a shared world with up to 12 players in each zone at one time. There will be events that pop up that you can do solo or with other players, and world bosses which you will need other players to complete. Although the game can't be played offline, dungeons and key story moments are always instanced, so it will just be you and your party of up to 4. After completing the story at least once, players will unlock the endgame, which include Helltide events, which are timed events, Whispers of the Dead bounties, which are repeatable side quests, Nightmare dungeons, which are increasingly hard dungeons with affixes. You can think of them as like Mythic Plus dungeons in WoW, and the Fields of Hatred, which is a dedicated PvP region. It should be noted that while you can receive unique cosmetics for doing PvP, there is no statted gear that's unique to PvP. And for players that really want a challenge, there's a pinnacle boss available once you reach level 100, which is the max level, which is supposedly the ultimate test of your character build. Shortly after the game launches, Blizzard will also start seasons, which are similar to how seasons work in other ARPGs like Path of Exile. Each season lasts 3 months, you'll create a fresh character that's able to skip the story, and there will be new questlines and gameplay features that make the season unique. This all goes away at the end of the season, and the next season you'll have to create a new, fresh character. Seasons are also unlocked after you beat the story at least once. Going along with each season, Blizzard will be releasing a battle pass, which has paid and free tracks, and Blizzard has stated that the premium tiers only give cosmetics. If you were worried after Diablo 3, Diablo 4 will not have a real money auction house at release. There will be an in-game shop that will use premium currency, but it's cosmetic only, and the game features fully enabled crossplay between Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And the game will have 2-player couch co-op, but only on consoles. So you kind of bounced off Diablo 3 when we tried to play that one together. Do you think you'll try again now with Diablo 4?
Well, it's not looking good. Obviously, if you want to play it, I will give it a try. I'm open to trying the experience. However, I'm really turned off by the shared world aspect where you share your world with other people at all times.
Yeah.
I don't want, like, a lot of games try to do this interactive community thing, which is great, but I don't want it in every game, and I don't want it here.
Yeah, it feels like it might be immersion breaking where you can't not have other people running around your world.
Yeah. Like, don't I see enough people in real life? I already have to share the world with all of them.
You look for games that let you be by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have to say I am interested in like the lore stuff that they've been releasing. Not to throw too much shade, I'm not too confident in how Blizzard tells their stories. It doesn't really engage me that much. But the setup sounds really cool and interesting. But yeah, I think the quasi MMO, semi MMO thing that they have, it seems like they have a real big focus on the end game, like basically what happens after the story. And I would basically be playing it once for the story.
Yeah. I can understand why they would include these things. Like they want it to be a live service game. They want to keep people engaged. However, I'm not going to play a Diablo game for that. Like,
yeah, I think it's that thing where it might I like the gameplay of ARPGs, but it might just be that they're not for me, because the crowd of people that play ARPGs, they want seasons and they want this continued support after the game and to grind forever to get these items.
yeah.
And that's
No, thank you.
yeah, that's not really what I'm looking for, but I do enjoy the gameplay.
And I dislike the season aspect where they offer these new story tracks with the new quest lines, but then it goes away. So they're really banking on that. What's the word?
You basically have to keep playing to keep up with the lore and the story. I don't like that. It's like a FOMO built in.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Next up is Final Fantasy XVI, the latest installment in this 35-year-old franchise. Produced by Yoshi P, the much-beloved producer of Final Fantasy XIV, 16 looks to be a return to more traditional medieval fantasy and promises a darker, more mature tone. This is actually the first M-rated Final Fantasy game, and the devs have stated that they use God of War and even Game of Thrones as inspiration, so don't expect this game to shy away from showing blood or swearing. The game takes place in Valisthea, home to mountains of crystals named Mother Crystals. These crystals emit ether used to conjure powerful magics, so expect the backdrop of the story to feature political factions fighting and vying over these crystals. The world also includes icons, or summons, which are powerful beings that reside in humans called dominants. These icons are used as weapons of mass destruction and are seen devastating battlefields. You play as Clive Rosfield, an Archduke's son who, through tragic events that occur in the prologue, becomes the dominant for Ifrit and is set on a dangerous path of revenge. You are able to summon its dread power and transform into Ifrit at various points in the story, and participate in icon battles. These look to be pretty scripted and on rails, but they are visual spectacles. The devs state they consider this the first true action RPG in the series, and have hired Ryota Suzuki as combat director, who has worked on Devil May Cry, Monster Hunter, and Dragon's Dogma. The combat actually looks quite a bit like Devil May Cry and features dodging, parrying, combos, and air juggling. It also has a stagger bar, which functions similarly to ones seen in Final Fantasy XIII and Final Fantasy VII Remake. You have party members that follow you around and make comments, but they seem to be less active in combat, leaving you to do most of the work. Although you do have a dog named Torgal who can be commanded to heal or help extend combos. To players less accustomed to action games, the game features accessibility items that can be equipped to help with things like dodge timing and healing. The game features a world map where you pick locations to travel to, and while some of the earlier zones seem linear, the game will feature large open zones which you can freely explore and are even given a chocobo to get around in. After completing missions, you will return to Cid's Hideaway, which acts as a hub area where you can talk to companions and other characters, get side quests, or even pick up bounties. And if you're unfamiliar with Final Fantasy, the game is standalone, so you don't have to play previous games to understand the story. So, what's your prediction? Where do you think this one will rank amongst all your Final Fantasies?
Ooh, hard. That is a hard question to answer. I really hope that it really gives you a lot of access to the world, which it seems it does, because a large issue that I had with 15 was that it felt very confined and not really fleshed out. And I have a lot of high hopes for this Final Fantasy. So I don't know. It's hard for me to guess of where it will be. The fact that it is action combat, while is for some people a step away from the classic turn-based, to me it's not a bad thing, and it can make it challenging in different ways. So I really hope the combat is fun, because that will really either push it to the top or make it more middling if it's not good. So yeah, I think the world looks really great. I am excited for the political backdrop of it. And I'm excited to be able to just go to other zones and actually see them.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you think that this game will be better than Final Fantasy 15.
Yes.
Okay.
I know what they were going for with 15. It's just it didn't fulfill my desire of what I wanted from the game. So
Okay.
I really like Final Fantasy 14. I know Yoshi P is a producer, so he's just one part of the team making this, but I feel like I can definitely see his influences on it. And I really enjoy 14, so I think this is a step in a good direction for the series.
Yeah, I have high hopes because of Yoshi P being the producer, and I mean I haven't played 15, so I'm not going to crap on it.
I'm not
We're
crapping on
over
it. I
that.
liked it. It just wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the fact that you turn into icons and stuff. I think my favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy X, and Ifrit was one of my favorite summons in that. I think he looked so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you get to actually be that one, you get to be him. Well, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this might end up being maybe my favorite we'll see after I play it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a game that I have that definite feeling that I want to get it on release and play it, but I'm not sure of the DLC situation at this time. So
Yeah,
I have looked into it, and they said the story is completely contained within the game. There's no comment on if there will include DLC at a later date. So
all right, so that's you being burned more by Final Fantasy 15,
a little bit, yeah.
they split the story out into DLC, and you didn't get the full.
Yeah, I never got the full thing.
Full story. Now we're going to quickly do some honorable mentions. Killer Frequency is a first-person horror comedy adventure game. You're put in the shoes of radio host Forrest Nash, whose callers are being stalked by a mysterious killer, and it seems like the police chief is missing, so they're relying on you to guide them to safety. You get to listen to 80s music while you explore your surroundings, gather clues, solve puzzles, and try to help each of your callers survive the night.
So I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd be calling my local radio station if there's some mysterious killer stalking me. That doesn't seem like, even if the police chief is missing, that's not really my go-to emergency contact.
Yeah, I don't think it would even cross my mind.
We don't live in the world of radio anymore.
They do things differently in the small towns. I'm interested in this because it almost seems like an escape room type game where you're basically solving instead of getting out of a room, you're helping other people get out of smaller rooms that you can't see because they're just calling you. I like that it puts this responsibility on the player to figure things out. It's not giving you the answers. You're basically solving everything yourself. There's not clues or quest markers or anything like that. You have to use your noggin.
I wonder if there is achievements if you get one for failing every single one of your callers. Like they all die.
I mean, maybe, but it's odd that that's the one that you're gonna be going for.
No, I didn't say I was going for it. I just here, you're a failure. You failed everybody. Get an achievement. I mean, I guess achievement hunters would do it on purpose, but
the thing is, it would probably feel like more of a failure if you saved one person and then just didn't get the achievement. I might as well just let them die and get the achievement.
Secret achievement.
Amnesia: The Bunker is the next first-person horror game in the Amnesia series. You play as an injured soldier who wakes up in an abandoned bunker during World War I. You're equipped with a revolver and a dynamo flashlight, and you must scrounge for supplies and find your way out as you're hunted by a horrible monster. The monster uses dynamic AI and is attracted to noise, so shooting, running, and even widening your flashlight will attract the monster to your location. Light also keeps the monster at bay, but the fuel for the generator is in limited supply. The game has physics-based interactions you expect from this series, so you can pick up items, rotate, and throw them, and will also feature randomization, so combination codes and supplies will be different each playthrough. It is a semi-open world to explore and promises multiple solutions to problem solving. So you're a fan of World War I. Are you ready to experience what it was really like in the bunkers?
No.
This is the true story, the one that they don't want you to know.
I mean, I guess it's like refreshing that a game has used the backdrop of World War I over World War II for once. However,
yeah.
We have played a couple of the Amnesia games, and they're not, I don't know. They're okay.
I think it's a difference of what you want. Like, I'm not that engaged by them, but I like combat even in my horror games. I like a way to fight back, like the Resident Evil games or like Evil Within. I don't like running away and hiding in cupboards and whatnot.
Yeah.
That said, the way they've set up the monster, it sounds like it will work similarly to how the Xenomorph in Alien Isolation worked. I don't know if it'll be that smart or that involved, but I did enjoy Alien Isolation. But again, a large part of that I think was the theming.
Yeah.
I like the Aliens franchise. I don't know if I'm that enthusiastic about going into a World War I bunker. And also, I played the demo for this game, and the little dynamo flashlight, you have to wind it up with this pull cord, and it only lasts 30 seconds. I timed it, and you have to wind it up pretty much constantly as you walk around to be able to see, and it like shakes your screen. I'll probably show it up here. It's like headache inducing. I don't enjoy it that much.
Yeah, if there was a way to turn off the screen shake when you wind it, it probably wouldn't be so egregious. I guess you could play this and I'll watch.
Maybe Halloween special.
I don't know if I want to play this one.
Harmony, The Fall of Reverie is the next narrative game by Don't Nod Entertainment, the developers of Life is Strange 1 and 2. Although this game is less gameplay focused as it's a visual novel. You play as Polly, a woman who has returned home to look for her missing mother, and finds a megacorporation called MK is using its power to try to control the population. Soon after, she discovers she has the gift of clairvoyance and can travel between her world and Reverie, a vibrant world inhabited by powerful beings called aspirations. These beings refer to you as Harmony and ask for your help in restoring balance between their world and yours. In this game, the main gameplay mechanic will be navigating the augur roll, a visual representation of a decision tree. As you make decisions, you collect crystals, bond with different aspirations, and unlock future options. Ultimately, you decide which aspiration becomes the new heart of humanity.
So you've played Don't Nod games before and have played visual novels. Do you think that you will play this game?
Well, interestingly, we've both played Don't Nod games, but neither of us have played their Life is Strange games, which are their most popular.
Yeah.
So I've played Vampire, and you've played Remember Me, I think.
That's not a is that a Don't Nod game?
Yeah, that's a Don't Nod game.
Mind is blown.
Well, in any case, I think the setting is quite unique. When I was trying to like compile the info for this game, I was like trying to wrap my head around what it was. I think the augur roll, like that gameplay mechanic, is, I don't know. It's interesting because it's basically a visual representation of the decision trees you make in the game. So it kind of like gives you a lens into the behind the scenes. I do like that it kind of tells you where you've been or where you can go. Like you see the actual branching paths, even though some I think can be hidden. Ultimately, I don't know. For visual novels without any gameplay, I have to really be into the setting of the plot.
Yeah.
And while it's unique, I'm not sure that it's that engaging to me specifically.
Yeah.
Although I will say, it's nice that this, even though it's a visual novel, it does have voice acting. But strangely, it only has voice acting for the voiced parts, the dialogue of the people, like the spoken lines. For the narration, it'll stop, and then you have to read that yourself.
I mean, I get it, but also, I think it'd be better if the narration was also voiced. Just so there's not a
lull.
Yeah, like a disruption.
Right.
I will say that while visual novels aren't really my thing. This game has some beautiful artwork. So you can just enjoy it for that part of it.
Yeah, maybe if it was like a little short movie or show, maybe we'd watch it.
Yeah.
Aliens Dark Descent is a top-down strategy game where you control a squad of colonial marines in real time. The game tells an original story set in the Aliens universe and begins as your ship crash lands on the planet Lethe. From there, you set out to gather resources to repair your ship while also stopping a xenomorph outbreak. As the commander, you give orders to a squad of 5 marines and the game automatically picks the best marines equipped for the task, so you don't have to micromanage them. If the action is overwhelming, you can even slow down time to give more precise commands. Each mission lasts between 20 minutes to an hour. You will explore large open levels to find items, shortcuts, and even side objectives to complete. You must manage your squad's health, ammo, and even their stress to avoid deaths and mental breakdowns. Death in this game is permanent, so sometimes it's better to avoid the xenomorphs lest you alert the hive. If a marine dies, you'll be a man down for the rest of the mission, though you can pull out early to prevent a squad wipe. The game features the iconic pulse rifles, smart guns, turrets, and motion sensors from the movies. You will face off against classic xenomorph creatures such as facehuggers, praetorians, and alien queens, as well as rogue human operatives. The devs also promise a brand new, never-before-seen breed of xenomorph. After each mission, you go back to your ship, the Otago, which acts as your command center. Here you can upgrade your base, research and develop new tech, and recruit new marines if any died. You can also level up your soldiers, choose their specializations, and change their loadout before heading back out to face the xenomorphs.
Well, you'll play this, right? You're a fan of the Alien series.
Yeah, I like xenomorphs. Although I like to play as xenomorphs. I like Alien vs. Predator, where you got to actually crawl around first person in the vents and kill humans and whatnot. I'm not too sure that the gameplay will engage me that much, because you're kind of controlling a squad and it's like real time. I don't know. I'd have to play it myself to see how engaging it actually is. But I actually am intrigued by the idea of like trying to protect your people, not lose anybody. Just that larger strategic sense of building up a group of superhuman marines. although I have to say, it's a fine line between like that's cool in concept, but if you've leveled up a guy to like max level and he dies and you have to recruit a new marine, he's level 1, like that can be really disheartening.
Yeah.
And especially if you have to grind him back up, like if it delays your progress.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you will not play this game at all.
This month, I guess, just doesn't have a lot that's doing anything for me. I don't really enjoy games where you like strategy games where you control like a squad. And I'm not a fan of the franchise itself, so it doesn't have any pull for me.
I know, it seems like a real-time XCOM type game.
Yeah.
So, although, well, we'll see if we got something exciting for you coming up next.
Oh boy.
Crash Team Rumble is an online 4v4 team-based arena sport game where you win by collecting more Wumpa fruit than the other team. You get to pick and play as various heroes and villains from the games, each with a different role such as scorer, blocker, or booster. There are platforms you can jump on to increase your score multiplier, and relics you can pick up to buy temporary bonuses like a ball that knocks people out of the way. The game features cosmetics and a battle pass, it is not free to play, and it has no local play. Looks like we finally found your game this month.
I think that's a little presumptuous. I really enjoyed Crash Bandicoot Warped, which is the 3rd game on the PlayStation, and then I never touched another Crash game. So I was surprised to hear about this game. But despite my misgivings, where it looks like, I think when we looked at it, I described it as people playing basketball together, but everybody has their own ball trying to score. It could be, you know, quite a fun PvP game.
Yeah,
it seems like it has potential. I just personally don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, you never know which one of these multiplayer games are going to hit it big, but I think you got to think of it more like a MOBA, where it's this competitive esport game where you will fight in the same type of arena every time.
Yeah.
I think it's strange that they went with a free-to-play model because it is kind of like a unique concept. I don't know if there was like a big appeal, like a big desire for this out there. So I think to get that buy-in, it would have been much easier if it was free to play up front, especially because it's not even a party game that you can buy and play locally with like a group of friends or your family.
I will say that despite not really understanding the appeal of the gameplay, it has a lot of visual appeal that maybe could appeal to younger audiences. Like it's bright, the characters are interesting to look at, you can customize them. So
yeah, you can put a hat on Crash if you want to.
Give him weird hair.
Just like you always wanted.
Just like I always dreamed.
So that was a look at some of the games coming out in June 2023. If we missed any, let us know down in the comments. And also, you can let us know if you liked our avatars, our V2 avatars, or give us timestamps if they wigged out or something weird. Let us know.
You can also put a comment on the game that you're looking forward to the most.
Oh yeah, we should choose our own. You know what? I'll let you go first.
Oh, how kind.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll be any surprise to anyone after watching this entire video that the one that I'm looking forward to the most this month is Final Fantasy XVI.
And not Final Fantasy 15, for sure.
No. Been there, done that. Ready for the new one.
Out with the old.
Yep, in with the new. With hopefully a solid gameplay and story.
Yeah, I have faith in both of those. So much faith that it would be my favorite game, or my most anticipated game of the month, but since we can't pick the same, that's the rule I just made up. I have like a 3-way tie.
Okay.
Between, I'm interested in playing ESO, like we've dabbled in it. I don't know if this new expansion is going to be the one that pulls me in. Like I said, I'm really waiting on the new vampire update.
Yeah.
Where that at? Diablo 4, but I've already talked about my misgivings there. And then the Aliens Dark Descent, because I like xenomorphs. You know what they should let you do is the same gameplay, but you lead a squad of xenomorphs around. I
knew you were going to say that.
You know, I played Alien Extinction, I think it was called, on like the consoles. It was a console RTS, and I got to play as aliens there, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Humans just aren't your deal, man. Not when there's xenomorphs around.
Yeah, I like bugs, but only the alien kind. Like I don't like bugs in real life, like in our world. But I like Zerg from StarCraft.
You like being bugs in games.
Yeah, I like to be the bug guys.
Yeah.
I want an exoskeleton.
Being a terrifying swarm of bug things.
You know, an exoskeleton would be quite defense against vampires. They wouldn't be able to pierce it with their fangs.
Yeah. I have no comment on that.
Okay, we'll end it there. I picked Aliens, and you picked Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
And then you let us know your most anticipated game. And it doesn't even have to be on our list.
Yeah, there's a lot of games out there.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.